Hey,
How are you?
I'm good, and then yourself?
I'm good.
That's great, hey, that's great.
Super.
We are back with another banging episode
Of Woke Conversations.
of Woke Conversation. It's episode 14.
Hey.
The long-awaited episode.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, but then we are back. We're about to have another woke conversation, an authentic conversation, conscious conversation.
Like always.
Like always, literally. But then, hey, how have you been doing, eh?
I'm good. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good, hey. I'm good. Hey, there's this thing I came across. Did you know that there's 90 countries which are smaller than Kruger National Park? You know Kruger National Park, right?
Yeah.
So, like,
I know Kruger National Park.
There's literally 90 countries which are smaller than Kruger National Park as a whole. That was crazy because we're literally harboring more than 90 countries in that space.
Is it?
Yeah, literally.
That's intriguing.
Hey, because
yeah.
You were saying?
No, you were saying?
No, I was saying because there are so many small countries out there. I mean, countries like Lesotho and Botswana, I think they fit in, like we could align them in Kruger, like they could fit in. So it was quite a fun fact that there's actually countries that small and that many.
Hey, all around the world.
All around the world. It's crazy.
I know of like some of the islands around the world whereby they're very small. Even when you have to fly there, you fly with like a small plane and stuff. But then most of those islands are like destination islands.
Oh yeah.
So most islands are also considered countries, is it?
I wouldn't be too sure. But then hey, that's a very good question.
Hey.
That's a very good question. But then I wouldn't be too sure, hey, because for something to be called a country, it has to have a state, it has to have government and stuff like that. So if it is,
so we can say most islands are within countries.
Yeah. Most islands are within countries. Because if it's that small, there's no population literally. Like there's not much people, so there can't be a government there. So they're just like that, a destination place where you can just go and chill. You know, spend your festive or your holidays there, something like that.
I'm sure those type of countries are so easy to like manage. Yeah, because I'm sure it's difficult for the government and the president to control like huge countries, you know.
Yeah,
because of the population.
I think also what's this, Madagascar? Is it an island or a country?
I think it's an island.
It's an island.
Yeah. Isn't it a forest?
I don't know.
An island forest type of thing. I don't know.
I think it's also small like that. Like it can also fit in to
those countries.
Yeah, those 90 countries. But then another thing, apparently dolphins sleep with half their brains awake so that they don't drown.
Whoa, shit.
So how does something that lives in water drowns?
Actually, does it only apply to dolphins or is it every animal in the sea?
I don't know.
Because if dolphins can drown if they're sleeping, that means
fish can drown too.
Yeah, everything else can too.
What about humans? Humans sleep like when they are asleep, they're like dead. Yeah, so
is it everybody though? Because there are people who, when they're asleep, but then they're conscious. Like you sleep but you're conscious. Especially light sleepers.
Yeah.
You know, like a slight movement in the room, like.
Oh yeah, you're right. Light sleepers are I guess they're not fully unconscious when they sleep. Hey, so I guess not all the animals drown.
Hey.
Yeah.
I guess so. Hey, but it's so weird. Everything about life is just fascinating. Hey.
And crazy.
Hey, everything about humanity and every species out there is just fascinating. That's why I believe that aliens exist. We're too fucking weird for aliens not to exist.
Really?
For real.
You think they exist?
For real. Look at animals. Like, if something like that can exist, anything else can exist. Like, literally, think about it every day, ne? We in this round thing, floating around space every day. Every day.
So there's a possibility that there's another round thing floating, just carrying different species.
Proven by scientists and astrology.
Oh yeah, that there are other planets. Sure. Yeah, you're right. It is crazy. It is crazy. And you know what? One thing we can never understand. It's this whole humanity thing.
Hey.
Because sometimes it just feels like a cult.
Hey.
And everything we do, it's so planned. It should fit a certain standard or something like that. Take the government for instance. Like the form of government. What is the government? Like, how does it do what it does?
I feel like it's just people who made it up as they went. Because I feel like this thing always existed, this thing of governing and stuff. It's just that as time evolved, it also evolved. Yeah. Now we have like official government. At first, probably it was what the king, or what the chief of a certain tribe and stuff like that. So as time went by, I feel like it also evolved.
And it got like, I don't really know what the true definition of politics means, but then I feel like everything just got too political that we see through everything that they do wrong. Like, me for one, I even have the sense that this whole government thing is a cult simply because of the flaws it has, the way it is, the way it's planned. You can literally tell this is like it's made up to control people to live in a certain way. But then at the same time, if we weren't living like this, how would we be living?
True, that's the thing. I feel like that's the most frustrating part. We'll never know that. Because I feel like everything that exists today exists to control us. Literally, from everything, from how we transact with each other, from how you have to obtain things that you need in life. Literally, it's just there to control us. Everything is just a system, from schools and everything. It's just systems and systems and systems.
And look at our country with how they preach. I feel like they prioritize schooling so much, but then at the very same time, the unemployment rate is so high that people who go to school go out of school to be unemployed, and literally there's nothing they can do about that. But then they have to still push the same propaganda, if I can call it that.
They can't go back on their word.
Literally,
they can't go back on it. And I feel like everything and every system that's implemented, it's an experiment. You don't know the long-term effect of that system. We didn't know that later in life, school actually doesn't matter in whether you get a job or not. Yeah, so literally it's failed systems, and it's only now that most of these systems from the government and everything else, they're failing because,
and
they're revealing themselves. They're failing. Everything that's implemented into our lives and we're forced to follow the law and everything, it's an experiment system to control us, and then it fucks us up in the future because nobody knows the long-term effects of this thing, like the vaccine.
Oh yeah. It's so crazy how they were preaching that people should get vaccinated, and then they didn't really look at the insides of the effects of it. And then when they now said effects, they try to twist it. They don't take the blame.
Imagine how many things they did that with.
Hey, because I feel like even things like the stuff we eat, the stuff like that, they have some sort of chemicals or stuff.
Definitely.
Because there are things that are shipped in the country. So for them to not decay while they are on the way to this side and stuff, they have to have some sort of substance or something that keeps them fresh. Because there's no way that these things, they are kept fresh simply because they still fresh on their own. So there has to be some chemicals they use, and we boil that with it. We just eat simply because.
Hence, there's always there's this saying of like older people were stronger than nowadays people. It's because of the things we eat and everything they're doing and forcing us to do. Because what can you do? Who will you complain to? Who will you complain to?
Literally, there's no one you can tell. And it's crazy. I think I genuinely believe that if we were to be subjected to slavery right now, like old people were, most of the people wouldn't survive because of their immune system. It's too weak, it's too fragile, and
we're not healthy.
I feel like it's too modern. You know, like we try so much to not stick to the nutritious diet, but then we just want to indulge in the fancy food. But at the very same time, there's this line I once heard that the best part of marketing is marketing. So you know, it's crazy. It's crazy how we do things thinking we're doing it out of our own will, but then we're influenced to do these things.
But then you know you can eat fancy and healthy too, like.
But then you have to be rich.
Yeah. That's another thing. Hey, for you to have access to most of these things that are beneficial to you, you have to have money.
Yeah, you gotta be rich.
You gotta have a lot of money. You have to have a fat pocket.
Literally. And you know, I feel like the cult or humanity as a whole, let me not call it a cult because it's not a cult, but then humanity, it would be so great if we had I can call it subsidy. Each and every person born, you are given your check to spend, and if you run out of cash, that's when you die. So, listen to this. So let me give you an example. A kid is born today. The kid is given 100K to spend, to invest, to do anything. If that cash runs out, you stop breathing.
I feel like a lot of people would die.
So here's the tricky part. If you're able to invest that money, spend it well, and make sure that it makes more money, the more money you have, you are immortal. Yeah. So this would mean only people with sense.
Oh yeah.
Only people who can spend money
wisely. That would be a better world.
Only people who can invest. Only people who can multiply their check. Their instead of a birth certificate, give us a check. Yeah.
We would be so advanced.
Exactly. We'll be advanced. Don't give us a birth certificate and then we're supposed to go to school and then later be unemployed. A kid should be born, you're given a check, explore your talent. What is it that you're good at? What is it that you master? And then you work into that. If you're gonna blow it, that's your last breath.
I guess lucky are those who get trust funds when they are just very young.
I feel like those are the luckiest people. Like those are the people who enjoy life at its best because from a very young age you are taught to not suffer mentally, physically, or emotionally. So I feel like when you have to grind for everything you have, you go through the most.
It's exhausting.
It's exhausting.
It gets exhausting.
And most people give up. That's why there are not many people who are successful through self-made. Because I feel like most people give up when they are at the brink of making
success.
But then they give up. So it's only those who can defeat the odds who actually make it. Who actually make it. You know, who actually make it. So this whole humanity thing is just survival of the fittest.
Hey, I like games.
Yeah, hey, like you just have to survive with everything you got, with your brain. And I feel like at the same time, they shouldn't compel us to stick to family. Because that's one thing that drags most of us down. We think we depend on family mostly because it's people we are born with. It's because it's people who we know from our first breath. But then literally in most cases, those are not the people who help you out in life. So a person should just appreciate that they are living and make it out on their own. Simply that.
I feel like it is very, wise for a person to stand up for themselves and, make it on your own. Because at the end of the day, as you grow older, you have to branch out on your own and create your own life and build your own life. And it's crazy.
Yeah,
adulting is crazy.
Adulting is hard.
It's very crazy.
Adulting is hard.
Yeah, and period. You shouldn't depend on anybody, whether friends, whether anybody. You should always have your own back. That's how you gonna make it. Do you know your riddle?
What? Riddle.
Riddle.
Your
surname Riddle. Is it a riddle?
No, I don't think it's a riddle.
What is it?
What is it?
Like your surname, what is it called?
Isn't it praise?
Clan names.
Clan names, yeah, it's clan names. It's clan names.
Where do I get riddles?
Riddles are like sayings, African riddles. Don't whistle at night, it's forbidden. Don't do this and this because there's this and this.
Mm-hmm.
And
do you believe in those
riddles?
Mm-hmm.
Not entirely. Not at all. Not at all, because they're not really proven. It's just, I feel like it's something they used to say back then to scare people into not doing shit. Talk about humanity being crazy.
Hey, everything we taught and everything we hear, it's things to control us or scare us.
Literally. So I think riddles are just those, those type of things. Is there any, in Tonga maybe?
Me?
Yeah. Because I know none.
I know that one that says like you shouldn't sleep at night.
Oh yeah.
But obviously, I feel like they came up with that one because they'd be like, obviously you can't see at night, so you can't sweep the yard clean.
Why you can't see?
And so don't do it.
Imagine the sound of you sweeping at night outside. At night, I can see.
And I feel like it's weird because they made it. Society of the African people made it weird. Yeah. Because nobody does
made
it.
Unacceptable.
Yeah. And I feel like there's a lot of things that are unacceptable just because.
Did you see that we said at the same time?
Oh yeah.
But then it's things they made up. Yeah. Yeah. Simply to control people. Hey. I feel like either way, if people were uncontrollable, we wouldn't survive. Yeah, we wouldn't survive. But then riddles gave way of life to the old people. They followed them
because there was no really like a law.
Yeah, there was like, no law and
or government. So they could just scare you like that.
Yeah, and one thing I think that is different from old people and us is that we have too much access to internet. I think that fucked us up in a way. We have too much access to internet. We move away from the old way of life.
Right? But then, is it important? Does it really
old way
matter?
Of life?
Yeah.
The old way of life. Yeah. It's the old way of life for a reason. It's where life began. It's the most important part.
Would you go back to that life?
To that life?
Would you swap this life to that life? Oh, but there's no electricity. Okay, but it's the same.
Yeah, look at load shedding.
Yeah,
it's almost as, and load shedding is a word only in South Africa.
Hey, the other day I did ask myself that does this thing of load shedding happen everywhere around the world or anywhere around the world other than South Africa?
No, it's only in here. It's only us who are going through these sufferings. But then, what were we saying?
We're talking about riddles.
Yeah, riddles. They gave way of life to the old people, and not that I would swap. Okay, I would swap conditionally. That I go with electricity, my phone, internet, and stuff like that. The channel too. I'll go back.
That's everything.
Literally. I'll go back if there are those terms, if those conditions apply. But then, at the same time, the old way of life really needed to evolve. It just evolved too much. You know, it was just a big change, and I think that's how some of the most important things got lost. Things like Wiggles.
But then we still live without them. We still breathe properly without them. All I'm saying is all this innovation is making life easier for us. Look at us now. You can shop in your house. You can shop in your bed.
Yeah, literally.
Oof, yeah.
But then talking about Wiggles, isn't it the same thing as Kama though?
Kama?
Yeah.
No. Oh, Kama.
Yeah, Kama.
What is Kama? Like, what's the definition of karma? Because the only definition that I know is karma is when you do what you do unto others is going to be done unto you. So if you do something bad, if you do something bad unto others, you're going to...
I feel like karma is when you do bad and then that bad energy or all that negativity is returned to you in maybe a different time or a different day, you know.
Do you believe in that?
Not really. It's the same thing as those riddles. It's simply what you believe in. If you don't believe in the saying, if you don't believe in karma existing, I guess you won't experience those effects, right? But then if you believe in something, you're gonna see its effect. You would wanna experience it yourself because it's in your head that this is something I should believe in. This is something I see, right? But then same goes for riddles. I just feel like it's something that's there to stop people from doing bad, and control society.
Yeah, all these things are just mind games.
Yeah, mind games.
Like literally, we are manipulated through our brains to be good people and do good and be good. Hence, even the black book.
The black book. That book.
The black book.
That book.
I feel like that book is here to just control us mentally, control people mentally, just like everything else.
But then I feel like that book...
Even school, I feel like school is mentally training us to be employees.
Yeah, literally, it trains you to be employable too at the very same time.
Yeah.
Because you are dedicating, let me say, 12 years of your life into being somebody's best employee. School never really say establish something of yourself or be an entrepreneur. You know, it's just a system.
Teaches you have to wake up every day at the same time.
Literally.
You have break.
Yeah.
You knock off at this time every day. That's the same thing as working.
Talk about modern day slavery. You know, I feel like it's something that you are enslaved to without even realizing, and you not realizing makes it not bad. Yeah.
It's because I know you're earning money. So, because you're earning money, it's okay. Even though it's peanuts, it's something. You're doing it for free. So, it's not seen as slavery. But being an employee it's the same as being a slave.
Literally. But then at the same time, we just gotta understand that nobody can be an entrepreneur. Like, nobody can really... It's same goes
we
for
can't say nobody. We can just
everybody.
Say not everybody.
Not everybody. That's what
not everybody.
Man, I'm high. I meant not everybody, not no one. Not everybody can be a leader. Not everybody can be an establisher, an entrepreneur, or anything like that. Some other people are good followers, and they are meant to help other people realize their vision. Because literally, I feel like when you are an employee, when you are an employee, you are playing your part into building somebody else's empire. If you work twice as hard, that person is gonna buy a Mac today. if you double the effort, it's a private jet tomorrow. So literally,
Are you fighting to pay rent?
Yeah, are you fighting to pay rent? and stuff like that.
I guess it has to do with like a person's mindset. You just have to choose. Do you want to be that person who helps somebody build an empire, or you want to be that person who employs people to build an empire with you?
Literally, because it's a two-way street. It's either you, I feel like it's either you get eaten or you eat. Well, not like literally, but then you just gotta survive, or others will survive by you or off you.
And it's like the sad part is it's not even seen like that, because being employable is seen by society as this thing that you can't survive without.
The minute you get a job, you are celebrated.
Yeah, literally.
The minute you get a job, you
can't survive without a job.
Literally. Because you are seen as someone who's illiterate. And come to ask yourself, how many people are actually rich and don't necessarily have to write anything if they can't write, or necessarily have to read anything if they can't read? Because you can literally score $1 million today, whereas you've never seen a school door or anything like
literally.
So you can't spend your cash simply because you're not educated.
Literally,
it's crazy.
It's very crazy. But then at the same time, it's also understandable for those people who get jobs for that startup to build it themselves. Because you gotta start somewhere sometimes. And if you need a job to start,
I wouldn't work for more than 5 years.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I wouldn't work for more than 5
years. Definitely. The problem comes whereby you get hooked and you decide.
Imagine you're working for 25 years. You have a little corner somewhere at some building where you experience your misery every day. Oh, fuck. Wouldn't do that. Tell me, what do you think about modern day slavery? What do you think about modern day slavery?
As we saying, modern day slavery, even being employable, it's a modern day slavery.
The brutality of it, do you think it's more physical or mental?
I feel like it's more mental.
Ne? That's the only difference between now and then.
I feel like it's now more mental. We're slaves. We're still slaves. We're only free. We're only free with the laws and everything, but we're still slaves. Like, literally. Hence, even people stay in their jobs for long, because literally they slave you into getting loans and all this shit. You can't even leave your job. You can't even leave your job to better yourself, because then you're hooked. You can't leave your job because you have a lot of loans to pay.
I guess there are a lot of types of addictions. Some are addicted to substances and some are addicted to working.
I guess so.
Hey, but then you know what's the craziest part? With the mentality part, you can't fight it off. I feel like those are chains. While once you are enslaved mentally, you are gone. Those are chains you can't easily break. Because if it's physical, you know what you're fighting. You can see what you're fighting. And then mentally, it's just a whole different challenge.
What do you think about modern day slavery?
I feel like it's slowly warming in, and people are not realizing it that slavery still exists, and it exists mentally in nowadays. It's not physical. People are just ignorant about everything. Mostly in our country, there's still this illusion that we are free or we got freedom or anything like that. Whereas we just have the democracy, we're not free from anything.
We're not free from everything. Look at ESCO.
Like literally.
We can't say shit. Who you gonna complain to?
No one.
You still a slave. They tell you shit, then you just say, hey, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Sir. Yes, sir. Like they even put up a schedule.
Literally, we have to go through those schedules.
We live by it. We maneuver around it. You know that there's a certain time when you won't have electricity.
Literally, and they don't lie. They don't lie.
No, they're always on time.
They're always
on time. The craziest part is how they are not on time when it has to come back. Because when it goes on the dot. When it comes back, it comes back.
It's a mission.
Yeah, it's a mission.
Crazy.
It's very crazy.
For like 8 hours a day. Some days you don't have electricity. That's fucked up.
That's really fucked up. I think what's this? reincarnation. I sometimes feel like I could just, well, not die, but then be reborn in a different world. Not a different world, but country.
Oh,
away.
You hate that. You hate your country that much.
This country is like crap. Like literally nothing makes sense.
Like literally, the only goal for everybody should be I have to move out of this country as soon as possible.
As soon as possible. And the craziest part is that there's still people who are envying to reside this side. Like people want to stay this side.
People who are not even thinking about moving or anything like that. People are very comfortable.
But then when it comes to what's this? Is it landmarks or what destination places?
Oh yeah.
South Africa, it's the best.
Oh yeah. Hello, we have Cape Town.
Yeah, really, like it's like that's the dopest city, and it attracts a lot of tourists at the same time. But then the conditions the locals are going through is unimaginable. The floods too. Recently, with the recent rains and stuff, I feel like we subject poverty has also put us in a way in a situation where you can't do anything about it. Yeah, the conditions, the stuff. Because load shedding, we can't all get generators.
We can't.
It's only the rich or the privileged
who can.
Yeah.
So the only thing you can do is to fight your way up to be privileged too, and not make other people be privileged.
Literally. Hey, there's this thing in life science, school subject. Life science. I can't really pronounce the word, but then it's what's this astro. I can't pronounce the word, but then it's saying the human form, like people walking upright and stuff like that, comes from chimpanzees or apes, because there's also skulls they found which confirms the theory that people or humans evolved from apes. What do you think about that?
I don't know. Hey, I feel like it's just weird to me. Like how can you evolve as a thing? Which other like species has evolved? Isn't it like from something to something else?
But then the whole concept of evolution, do you believe in that?
I don't think I do.
Because here's one thing, if let me say if we go and stay at a place where it's not as sunny as it is here, as rainy as it is here, or the conditions are completely different to what we're living in right here, we would change our
but
skin
we wouldn't
that.
turn back into chimpanzees.
We
wouldn't grow big ears and turn into something else.
No, we wouldn't. But then this thing, let me like this word is Australopithecus. Australopithecus Africanus. Yeah. That's the theory of humans are coming from chimpanzees, right? What I'm saying is, I believe if you can move from one place to another where the conditions are completely different, your skin tone can change or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know about your organs.
Exactly.
I don't know about your organs.
Exactly, because I'm sure chimpanzees and us, we didn't have like the same organs or whatever. I just feel like we probably had the same DNA or similar DNA, which might have led, scientists to believe that we evolved from that.
Oh, something like a donkey and a zebra.
Yeah, probably they kind of share like characteristics in their DNA.
Yeah. I think they do. I think they do. There's certain bones apparently a human has that chimpanzees also have. Structures, certain things that a human have and chimpanzees have. Hence the theory. Hence these things that they found. Mrs. Apes, I think. The other one is called the Down Child. They even have names.
But then, do you realize that people who are coming up with these things are people like me and you? People who are doing this research and finding all these things are people like me and you. They probably have no clue. They probably have no clue and like what they're fucking doing.
Apparently they studied. They're scientists.
But then what they're studying is also things that are documented and researched by people like me and you.
So basically, we have nothing to believe in.
I feel like
believe in, but believe.
I feel like everything that exists and everything that is just assumptions. Because even there's what is it? There's a thingy that says scientists only know what's happening in a certain percentage of the brain. Nobody knows what's happening in the full brain. Yeah, even space.
There's also this movie, Lucy. Do you know it?
Oh yeah.
It was like it was showing different types of percentages that a person can use their brains. And when you reach a certain stage, you can literally control everything. But then you were saying
even space, like scientists can only research up until a certain point. Nobody really knows what is fully happening with anything in life.
No. But then where do they find the time? Let me give you an example with the human body, right? Because I feel like all the African ancestors could not define or describe an ear, right? But then now you can have that in a textbook. Where do they get the idea to say, let's open this?
Let's call this.
Let's
study it. Let's call this.
Yeah.
Everything that we know, any word we know, is made up by somebody like me and you. They just came up with it.
They just came up with the word. Literally. They just come up with the word. And words, I think the words are invented each and every single day. But they're not our, what's this? African indigenous languages. I feel like it's only with English. Yeah. With Tonga, for example, there's a lot of words that means the same thing. It's not broad like that. It's boxed. It's left in the old ages. So with English, there's a new word for everything every day that describes something.
It's because it's a universal language. It controls us well.
Yeah, it does control us well.
Yeah, one word, we all gonna know it around the world. One word that we use
but then
commonly around the world.
Who said it should be universal?
Somebody like you and me, baby. I'm up there. A leader or something.
A leader?
I don't know.
Well, yeah, it has to be a leader. I believe like a pope.
You can't just come up with something, can you? Well, you can.
You can.
You can.
You can literally come up with anything.
You can. You see how many people have just came up with something and people believed it.
Oh yeah.
And people was like, yes.
Let's do this.
That's why sometimes like I'm hesitant into like reading books, and stuff like that, because people write books based on their experiences, and I
also want to write a book.
You're gonna write a book based on your experience.
Yeah. But then now I feel bad.
Write a book.
Okay. You were saying, finish your point.
Huh?
I
think people just write and come up with things, and people go with it and believe it. I don't know. I'm not like that. I heard you mentioning reincarnation earlier. You believe in that?
Reincarnation? That is something I believe in. Literally. Because I feel like there are times where I feel like I've lived a moment. Yeah. There's this other... Okay. But then there's this other time I was doing something, or like I was literally crossing a road. And it felt familiar. And I was...
Isn't that creepy?
It is creepy. It is creepy. Hence, I think reincarnation exists in a way of you may have lived the life you're living now before, maybe once or twice.
Do you think it's the same?
Everything
identical?
It can't be exactly the same. There are going to be new things here and there.
But you don't know. You also don't know.
But then you know why I'm saying this, or how I can openly say this, is because it's not everything that seems familiar or feels familiar. It's only some of them. So it's only some of them that you can recall. Because I believe that the brain is a very, very powerful storage or something like that. It can't forget. Even if it can completely forget, some of the things
are gonna slip
through. Yeah. So reincarnation is there. I feel like reincarnation is there. And look at Sangomas. How are they doing? Because that's their theory is that old people manifest through them. Yeah. So
do you believe that?
Not. Okay, listen. Have you ever seen it though?
It's the same as people in church when they be like, the Holy Spirit is speaking through them. God is speaking through me to give you this word today, you know?
Okay. I would comment much on that. But then what I'm saying is these people can act it out, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So they can act it out. So if they can act it out, it's something that they genuinely think it's there for themselves. So whether I believe it or not, I don't. It's not my scene or it's not my field of play. So I don't really have to believe it or not.
That's another thing. Hey, you can never fully know anything unless you're fully there.
Yeah,
but then
the
even when you're fully there, you have a lot of questions.
Exactly. But then the one question that still exists even to this day in my head is that there's a group of people who genuinely believe there's an individual, a single person, a single one person,
I know,
especially like a single person can literally be crucified for the world, for not only the world, the universe sins. It's deplorable.
He walked on water.
It's still bitter in my mouth. But then people stick to their beliefs. That's just one thing to show. People stick to their belief and people believe in whatever they believe in.
I do also like watch a lot of documentaries. I like watching a lot of documentaries, and there are like genuine people actually who have stories whereby they remember their past lives, like literally describing their family members, their houses they grow up in, and when they go over there, those things actually exist, and they are young. Some of them are kids. Fucked up shit.
You know, but then they remember the past life, right?
They remember their past life.
You see,
they remember their names in the past life, a different name and shit like that. Do you believe that you can come back as an animal?
Oh, that I don't know, eh? But then I feel it's all in spirits. So if a human spirit can do well in an animal, I genuinely do believe. But then
oh shit, what if when you're killing that mosquito, you're killing your relative?
Talking about mosquitoes, do you know that it's only female mosquitoes who bite humans?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, same goes with lions. It's only lioness. It's only a female lion that hunts. I think it's a theory.
Why is that? Why can't like male and mosquitoes bite?
With the male mosquitoes, I don't know, but then with the lions, I feel like it's because they are the protector. Yeah, the fighter. So and I feel like I think the male lions are lazy as fuck. So they just lazy around, and when there's a kill, they just get up, be grumpy and roar, scare everybody else, eat, and when they're done, they go and everybody eats later. But then
everything about life is weird.
Hey, tell me about it.
Hey?
But then, reincarnation with animals, I feel like look at a human soul. I feel like a human soul is too big for a mosquito.
How do you know that?
You think it would fit?
Huh?
Do you think it would fit?
I think so.
It would fit. But then,
because those things are smart. Animals are smart. Have you seen how a rat is fast?
wow,
Smart.
Reds.
Are
You know, I've
smart.
seen reds dig up a place. Like, this is a story. I'm telling you, rats. Ne? There's this place where there was rats. Ne? Rats were digging. Like, they were digging. Oh, this was so scary. So, it's a place, it's an accommodation place. So, there are rats at that place. These rats, they have holes around the place, right? But then the crazy part is, no matter how much you try closing those holes, the rats will dig.
Were they inside or outside?
It was never a
as in like inside the house or outside the house?
No, outside the house. They were in the yard.
Oh.
They were in the yard.
Oh, I was about to be like,
No, they were in the yard. The crazy part is, whether you close this hole with cement, with rocks, with anything, the rats dig out anything that's in their holes.
Seriously?
To a point where I wondered, how are they doing it? Because you would find pile of soil next to that hole.
A whole construction.
Site. Inside. Literally. It was weird. Like, so fucking weird. But then, hey.
These things have brains. That's
They
why
do
I'm
have
saying
brains.
every living thing is weird.
Have you seen it with I think labs use animals to test medicine they give humans?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, obviously that's where they do the first trial tests before they move on to like actually doing human tests.
I guess there was no time during COVID.
I feel like they did. They just waited for obviously the short-term effects and see how it goes for a few days or a month. and then after that,
there was even a case where in our country we bought expired vaccines.
I wonder how that happened.
Hey, I wonder how that happened. But then at the end of the day, with government, you can.
And how can they expire so quick if COVID just started? Because vaccines were
where were literally? Oh, good question.
Where were they all this time until they expired?
That's a very good question. Who can we ask? Oh Lord, that's so good.
That's the thing. You can't ask.
Oh, that's a very good question. Lord, if COVID started the time it started, then there was already an expired vaccine. When was it produced?
Because when we ordered those vaccines, they had just started rolling out. So how can they expire within a few months? What expires in a few months?
Oh Lord. You are so right.
Unless it's something...
You are so right.
Yeah.
It's crazy how even... nobody even questioned that. There was no question like that. But then, hey, things like this, things like cult, karma, reincarnation, if I can call it that, regals and all of that, they are all just there to control people.
Hey?
And to control people to live in a certain way. The only fucked up part is, if we see through the BS, it calls for a revolution. Like, it calls for people to rise up. It calls for people to want for change. Because we see through it.
For who though? I believe that the only thing you can do at this moment in time is to save yourself. And wait for your time.
If you had that cash, you would wait for your insufficient fund.
I get it. But then at this point, like literally you can't save everybody. The only thing you gotta save
is yourself. It's yourself. And even if you try,
you see through it and you protect yourself.
Literally, you just gotta see through it and protect yourself, because at the end of the day, it's what you do that matters most, not everybody else. So yeah, I guess that's life, and it's odds. Everything is odds, I guess.
And that's the thing, you can never escape it, no matter how much money you have. You're always gonna be under control.
Literally, you're always gonna be subjected to each and everything.
They know where you go. When you fly out of the country, there's a record. Like literally, you're under surveillance.
Even the ID you have as a chip that is checking your movement and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, you just gotta admit that you are living in a world where you have no control. You're just born into somebody's yard. Yeah.
And the fucked up part is you didn't ask for any of this. Like,
you didn't ask to be born.
Sometimes I even think like probably we were part of the negotiations and like yes, we're about to do this. Life, we're about to do this life shit. But then they're like, the only condition is we have to erase your memory. And NDA type of vibes. So we're in here because we signed shit.
Like we signed shit.
And you can't just break a contract
and
like
you
that.
Know, we do sign shit. People like even in real life, people sign things without even reading. You just sign through it. Like it's crazy, and I genuinely feel bad because I just wish there would be something we would change. I just feel like there would be some sort of improvement in our life. But then you can only control your own life. So
exactly, and you need money for that.
You need money for that. So we just gotta secure the bag.
And the only way to have sufficient money is to build your own empire.
Yeah.
Be up there and live your own life.
Literally. Because it's either you are a slave or the slave master. Yeah.
I'd rather be the slave master. Who wants to be a slave?
You'd rather be the slave
Who wants to be a slave? You want to be a slave?
I wouldn't want to be a slave. That's hardship, eh?
I don't even want to be a slave mentally.
Yeah.
I hate being boxed.
Hey, like thinking only around things around you, like even the environment influencing your way of thinking, your standard of living, your mentality.
Learn.
It's hard.
Be open-minded. Be open to learning new things discovering new things. Change is good.
But then what's most important is that it takes a lot to be that kind of person. I feel like it's only when you're famous that you have those kind of opportunities. You can go anywhere in the world. You can travel the world.
But then there's a lot of rich people, billionaires and shit that we don't even know.
The minute you are a billionaire, you're famous. I'm telling you.
Nah.
The minute you are a billionaire, you're famous. There's no way you are a billionaire and you're not listed on Forbes.
But then, isn't it that like you have to, you have to they have to ask you first before they publish those type of things about you. And they have to come and research your things like deeply. Like you have to invite them into your shit so that they know how much you really earn to list you.
Listen, let me give an example, right? You own a company today, right? Your company buys another company. That company buys another company. That company buys another company. You're telling me that word wouldn't go out that there's this purchases?
But then it's companies buying companies. It's not your name.
So you're saying you can be a billionaire under the radar?
Yeah.
You can be a rich billionaire unknown?
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of rich people out there who are unknown. Really, obviously, people in your own circle will know you, but not the world. Like in South Africa, like how many billionaires are in South Africa? that we know. Okay, we list them, but there's no way there are no other billionaires that are under the radar, living in dimensions we don't know all around the country.
Unless if you are a thug. Thugger.
Exactly, you can be a
if you are a
billionaire out of criminal activities.
Well, if you're a thugger, you can be. But then I mean, like, if you're a corporate, if you business, you legit and stuff like that, they're gonna investigate you. They're gonna find you. They're gonna list you.
Just like people who win lotto and stuff. You know, you can be an anonymous winner. But then if you are booming and blowing and nobody knows.
Let me give you an example. How many people do you know who have won lotto and actually still have the money? I'm not saying people who win lotto misuse their money, but I'm saying money you get instantly, it's hard to make it with your lifetime.
I feel like it depends on your mentality.
Yeah, I was about to go there. You're right.
It depends on your mentality. If you already have plans and you are a woke-minded person, you're a woke-minded person and you know your life plans, and the only thing that's missing is just funding. When that money comes, there's no way you're just gonna forget about all your plans.
Yeah.
If not some.
Yeah, you're right.
So it depends. So if this type of money goes to somebody who has no vision at all, no plans at all, obviously they'll blow it. I'd also blow it if I didn't have a plan or anything, because I have plans and shit. If money comes, everything is aligning.
Everything is aligning.
Definitely.
Well, I feel you. I feel you. And you know, the most important part is that people keep woke. People stay real to themselves, because I feel like that's what gets in each and every person by on a daily. Yeah, whether you're black, white, or yellow, as long as your mental state is straight,
you survive.
I feel like you can survive.
Hey, thinking about like famous billionaires and stuff, don't you think fame sometimes gets into people's heads?
It does.
Hey?
It does. I think you are a hardcore if fame never gets in your head.
Yeah, I feel like it's the same thing as we saying that people who win lotto, who are like woke-minded people, will use the funds like accordingly and wisely.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the same with anything else, just like fame. If you are a strong-minded person.
Oh yeah, it can never get to you.
It can never get
you control it. It doesn't control you.
It doesn't control you. But then if you know you're gonna blow it. You're gonna blow your fame. And most of those people who are famous are not even really rich. Have you realized that?
Yeah, they're not really rich. Hey, that's the another fucked up part. They just have the cash there to be there. No, they just have the name to the exposure.
Hey,
not the cash.
I see it in our entertainment industry in South Africa.
Yeah.
A lot of like these big names, you think like they've been doing this thing for a very long time.
They even rent cars. These people to keep up with the lifestyle and things like that. And I feel like that's not authentic. So that's not real. That ain't real. Why should we pretend to be living a life that we can't even afford?
It catches up with you.
You know,
at the end of the day, they're gonna repossess that shit.
Debts and shit.
They're gonna.
That's a real. I know that for a fact.
That's a real. You should think twice before you.
Really, literally, you should really think twice before you indulge in that life. But then, hey,
life forces you though to put you in those. That's the fucked up thing about life.
That's the fucked up part about life.
It forces you to be in type of situations where you know you shouldn't be to begin with. But then,
hey, what can you do?
What can you say?
Anyway, I feel like we've had a good banging episode, don't you think?
It was a great episode.
Until the next episode.
Hey.
Which is the 15th.
Hey.
Episode. You know, this numbering thing, it will sometimes get to me. Is there such a thing as 15th?
15th, yeah.
Okay.
15th, 16th,
17th, 20th.
20th, yeah.
But then let's keep bowling. We're coming back with another banging episode of Woke Conversations. Until next time, we're out of here.
Peace.